There is a constant low-frequency hum at the edge of your awareness, a sound that the rest of the world seems to have learned to ignore. It rewrites a conversation from 5 years ago, which is why a simple text saying, "We need to talk," can unravel your entire afternoon. While others move through their days, you find yourself paused at the crossroads of countless different futures, paralyzed by the ghosts of numerous pasts. A simple decision becomes a labyrinth. A casual comment turns into a text to be deciphered. A moment of quiet transforms into a void, and your thoughts rush to fill it with analysis, regret, and anticipation. You have been told you overthink. You have been advised to just stop, as if your mind is a switch you could flip off. But what if this diagnosis represents a profound misunderstanding? What if the issue isn't the depth of your thinking, but rather its captivity? What if you're not thinking too much but thinking in a world that has forgotten how to think at all? This isn't a psychological breakdown. It's a philosophical condition, a different way of engaging with the world, where the volume of reality is turned up too high. It is a beautiful curse. Over the next 20 minutes, we will explore this beautiful curse across 3 territories: a fractured relationship with time, a surrender of your agency, and the profound isolation of the self. This is not a list of symptoms. It is a philosophical diagnosis. Let us begin. Sign 1. The past as emotional quicksand. There is a place you visit, often against your own will. This place is the past, but you do not go there as a tourist. You go there as a prisoner, returning to the scene of a crime that never happened, to stand trial for charges that were never filed. For the healthy mind, the past is a landscape viewed from a distance. You can point to it, learn from it, and turn away. But for you, the overthinker, there is no distance. You are trapped in a cave of a single cold moment. This is rumination, the mind's broken record. It begins innocently enough, a thought that conversation was awkward. For most, a fleeting observation. For you, a summons. You are pulled into the courtroom of your mind. You are the prosecutor, the defense attorney, and the jury, delivering a unanimous verdict. You were foolish. You were wrong. You replay the scene, but it is not a replay. It is a reliving. You feel the heat in your cheeks as if the embarrassment is happening now. You are not remembering an emotion. You are reinfecting yourself with it. Philosophically, this is a profound failure of temporal boundaries. The philosopher Kierkegaard saw this as a form of despair. The self does not relate to itself in the present. It relates to a frozen, distorted image of itself in the past. It is a dialogue with a ghost, and the ghost always wins. You are engaging in a futile search for a single magical key that would have unlocked a perfect, conflict-free alternate reality. You are trying to solve an equation where the variables have already been set. The ink is dry. This is the great deception of rumination. It masquerades as problem-solving. It feels like work, but true learning integrates a lesson and moves forward. Rumination digs a hole and calls it progress. The energy required for this constant excavation is staggering. It is a psychic tax levied on every waking moment. This is why, after a session of intense rumination, you can feel physically drained, as if you have run a marathon in your sleep. The past for you has ceased to be a place of reference. It has become a residence, and a haunted house is no place to live. Sign 2. The future as a disaster script. If the past is a prison, the future is a haunted house. And you are its architect, its engineer, and the sole visitor on a perpetual, terrifying tour. This is catastrophizing. It is not merely worry. Worry is a cloud that passes. Catastrophizing is a storm system you build, fuel, and then choose to live inside. It begins with a seed. What if I make a mistake? But in the fertile, anxious soil of your mind, that seed mutates. It becomes a monstrous narrative. If I make a mistake, my boss will lose faith. If he loses faith, I won't get the promotion. If I don't get the promotion, I'll be stuck forever. The chain continues, until a minor concern becomes the complete unraveling of your life. You are not considering possibilities. You are writing prophecies, and they are always prophecies of doom. This is where overthinking masquerades as responsibility. It feels like preparedness. But a true strategist prepares for multiple outcomes, including success. Your simulation only has one ending: ruin. Philosophically, this is a distortion of your relationship with possibility. The future is a realm of potentiality, a spectrum of what could be. The healthy mind acknowledges this spectrum and accepts uncertainty, but the overthinker's mind cannot tolerate uncertainty. A terrible certainty feels safer than a beautiful maybe. This is what Kierkegaard called the dizziness of freedom. The sheer number of paths is paralyzing. So you choose the path of most resistance, the one paved with fear, but you are not avoiding suffering. You are only suffering in advance. You are a psychic time traveler, journeying into a terrifying tomorrow to feel its pains today. Your body does not know the difference. As you draft your disaster script, your nervous system is activated. Cortisol floods your bloodstream. Your muscles tense. The exhaustion you feel is the real, physical cost of building and inhabiting these fictional tragedies. The future is no longer a land of promise. It is a quarry from which you mine anxieties. You are so busy reading the imaginary fine print of a life that hasn't happened that you miss the bold, beautiful text of the life that is happening right now. Sign 3. The present as a vanishing point. There is a place that should be your home, your sanctuary, the present moment. But for you, it has become a vanishing point. A theoretical concept that collapses under the weight of yesterday and tomorrow. While your body goes through the motions, your consciousness is elsewhere. You are a ghost in your own life. The taste of coffee is dulled. The words in a meeting are muffled. You are only partially there. The rest of you is lost in time. This is not merely a lack of focus. This is a fundamental displacement of being. You are like a radio receiver that cannot tune to the current frequency because it is picking up signals from the past and future. The static is deafening. Philosophically, this represents a failure to achieve what Martin Heidegger called being present at hand. The world becomes a series of objects to analyze rather than experiences to inhabit. A friend's laughter becomes material for psychological analysis. A beautiful sunset becomes a reminder of time's passage. This constant mental time travel has a tangible neurological cost. Your brain's default mode network is in a state of perpetual overdrive. It's like leaving a car engine running 24 hours a day. The fuel is your mental energy, and the exhaust is your exhaustion. The tragedy is that the present moment is the only place where life actually happens. It is the only temporal space where you can make choices, experience joy, or change anything. But you have abandoned this reality. Your experience of time becomes paradoxical. The hours drag while the years fly. You are living your life in third person, watching yourself go through motions while your consciousness is time traveling elsewhere. This is the ultimate consequence of the temporal crisis. You have become unmoored from the only reality that exists. There's a reason your mind spirals the way it does. It isn't random. Your thoughts follow one of 5 distinct overthinking identities. If you want to discover which identity represents you, the pattern that explains your thoughts, reactions, and feelings of exhaustion, you can download the free Identity Profile Playbook available in the description. One insight can completely change how you understand yourself. Sign 4. The maze of indecision. You stand before a simple choice, and the world explodes into an infinite maze. This is analysis paralysis, and it is the systematic dismantling of your own will. A simple decision becomes a life or death referendum on your identity. Choosing a career path is about inscribing your future self into stone. Picking a sofa is about committing to an aesthetic identity for a decade. You are not asking, what should I do? You are asking, who should I be? And the sheer magnitude of that question freezes you. You research, you list pros and cons, but each new piece of information reveals 3 new corridors. You chase the phantom of the perfect choice, but this perfect choice is a ghost. It does not exist. This is the denial of agency. Agency is the capacity to act, but you have substituted acting in the world with analyzing the world. You are waiting for the data to make the decision for you. Philosophically, this is a rebellion against existence. Jean-Paul Sartre argued we are condemned to be free. The overthinker, terrified of this condemnation, tries to build a manual through analysis. They seek an external system to absolve them of the terrifying responsibility of their own freedom. But life cannot be solved like a math equation. It can only be lived like a story. Your relentless analysis is a refusal to write your next chapter. The cost is a life deferred. While you are trapped in the maze, life happens without you. You are so afraid of making the wrong choice that you choose nothing, which is, in itself, the most definitive choice of all. Sign 5. Dissecting the wave. You feel a surge of sadness. For a moment, it is just a feeling. But for you, this is a starting pistol. You do not simply feel the sadness. You feel compelled to understand it, to take it apart on the examination table of your mind. This is the obsession with meaning, the belief that no emotion can be simply experienced. It must be deciphered. The initial feeling is a natural, organic occurrence. It rises, it peaks, it passes, but you intercept it. You see the wave not as a temporary phenomenon, but as a cryptic text. You ask not what is this feeling, but why is this feeling here? What does it say about me? You turn your inner world into a crime scene. You are no longer living your life. You are performing a continuous, exhausting autopsy on it. This goes beyond healthy introspection. Introspection is a glance in the rearview mirror. What you are doing is pulling over and dismantling the entire engine to understand a faint humming sound. The journey grinds to a halt. Philosophically, this is a rebellion against the mystery of being. It is the desperate attempt to replace the chaotic flow of human experience with a clean, logical, and fully explained narrative. In your quest, you commit a violence against your own experience. You fracture the unity of a moment. Instead of being sad, you are observing yourself being sad. The feeling is no longer something you have. It becomes something you are haunted by. The poet Rumi wrote, "The cure for the pain is in the pain," but you refuse to enter the pain. You stand outside it with a microscope and a notebook. You are searching for a map of the storm instead of learning to sail in the rain. And so you remain on the shore, dissecting each wave, wondering why you never feel the ocean's embrace. Sign 6. The geometry of perfection. There is a geometry to your mind, but it is a brutal one. It knows only straight lines and right angles, success or failure, flawless or worthless, perfect or damned. This is all or nothing thinking. A project is not a series of steps. It is a single, monolithic test. One flaw, and the entire endeavor is a total failure. A healthy lifestyle is a sacred pact. One indulgent meal, and the pact is shattered. You have not slipped. You have fallen off a cliff. This cognitive distortion systematically erases all evidence of progress. You take the rich, messy tapestry of a lived experience and you bleach it to black and white. Philosophically, this is a rebellion against reality itself. The world is a realm of spectra and continua. Day fades into night. Health declines into sickness. To insist on absolute categories is to wage war on the fundamental fabric of existence. This mindset is the ultimate denial of agency because it makes action impossibly costly. When the stakes of every action are absolute, the simple act of doing anything becomes a terrifying gamble. Why start the novel if the first chapter won't be a masterpiece? Why apply for the job if you don't meet 100% of the qualifications? You become a prisoner of the or. You could be kind to yourself or you could be productive. The possibility that you could be both is a heresy your mind cannot entertain. This is the geometry of a life unlived. A straight line is the most barren path. It misses the beautiful landscapes that exist in the curves and the messy, glorious gray areas. You are so afraid of a step that isn't perfectly straight that you condemn yourself to standing still, forever. You've sensed it for a long time. Your overthinking isn't random. It follows a pattern. A recognizable signature that pulls you into the same loops again and again. If you're interested in discovering what type of overthinker you are, understanding the reasons behind your thought spirals, and uncovering the hidden strengths within your patterns, you can download the free Overthinking Identity Profile Playbook linked in the description. Inside, you'll answer a short set of questions that reveal your overthinking archetype. You'll finally see the structure behind your thoughts, the architecture that's been shaping your inner world. Clarity won't solve everything, but it is the first step, and you can take that step right now. Sign 7. The self-consuming fire. There is a fire in your mind that feeds on itself. This is the anxiety loop, a perfect, terrible circuit where thought and feeling chase each other's tails in an ever-accelerating dance of dread. It begins with a spark, a worry, a tension. The thought carries a charge of fear. This fear is the kindling. It signals your body, be alert. Your body responds. Your heart rate ticks up, your muscles tense. Your body, now in a state of alarm, sends signals back to your brain. Something is wrong. Your brain amplifies the original thought. This isn't just a meeting. It's a potential catastrophe. The thought grows sharper. This pumps more fear into your system, which tightens your chest further, which makes your brain scream louder. You are trapped. A thought creates a feeling, which validates the thought, which intensifies the feeling. It is a psychic perpetual motion machine. You are the arsonist, the burning building, and the fuel. Your resources are diverted from engaging with the world and funneled back into fighting this internal blaze. You are so busy reading the smoke signals of your own nervous system that you forget to look at the sky. Philosophically, this is a state of self-imprisonment. Your consciousness has turned inward and begun to devour itself. This is what Kierkegaard described as a form of despair that is unaware of being despair. Neurologically, you are strengthening the very neural pathways you fear. Each pass around the loop carves the rut of anxiety deeper. The isolation is absolute. From the outside, you appear still. But inside, you are running a marathon on a circular track. You are alone in the storm of your own making. Sign 8. The invisible weight. There is a fatigue that sleep does not cure, a heaviness in the soul. You wake up already weary. You move through your day carrying a burden that is invisible to everyone but you. This is the emotional exhaustion of the overthinking mind. The cause is simple. Your mind is never off. The simulation engine, the forecasting unit, the internal auditor, they are all still humming, consuming your vital energy even when you are physically still. You are doing the work of 10 different people in the theater of your mind. The director, the actor, the critic, the audience, the janitor. The cost of their salaries is your joy, your motivation, your spark. This is why you can feel wiped out without having accomplished anything. You've been climbing the same imaginary mountain in your head, over and over, only to find yourself back at the bottom each time. Philosophically, this is a rupture between effort and effect. In a healthy existence, energy leads to a result. But for the overthinker, energy is siphoned into a black hole of cognition. It is effort without traction. The engine screams, but the vehicle goes nowhere. This invisible weight convinces you that you are lazy, that you lack discipline, when in truth, you are the most disciplined worker in the most punishing factory imaginable, the factory of your own thoughts. And so you retreat. The world expects you to run, but you can barely stand. Sign 9. The imaginary audience. You are never truly alone. A council sits in judgment in the theater of your mind. This is the imaginary audience. You do not just get dressed. You costume yourself for a review. You do not just speak. You perform a script for an invisible panel. You spend your life editing the documentary of your existence, terrified of a bad review from an audience that isn't there. The mechanism is projection. You assume everyone is scrutinizing you with the same relentless intensity with which you scrutinize yourself. This creates a life of preemptive censorship. You rehearse conversations for invulnerability. You choose your words to build fortifications. Your life becomes a series of concessions to ghosts. Philosophically, this is a state of what Jean-Paul Sartre called the look. The overthinker internalizes this gaze and carries it always, becoming their own perpetual objectifier. You are so busy managing your object status that you forget how to be the author of your own life. The cost is your authenticity, the you that interacts with the world becomes a carefully curated performance. You are isolated from yourself by a pane of glass made from your own fears. The tragedy is that the imaginary audience is a mirror. The judgments you fear are the judgments you have already passed on yourself. You are performing for a crowd that has never actually bought a ticket to the show. Sign 10. The extinguished spark. There is a final, quiet surrender, a slow, steady dimming. The hobbies that once set your soul alight now feel like distant memories. You do not reject them. You simply let them go. This is the extinguished spark, the avoidance of joy, because you have come to believe you do not deserve it. The logic is merciless. Joy is a reward for solved problems, and since your internal world is a perpetual construction site, the reward is deferred. To pick up a guitar feels irresponsible, like decorating a house that is on fire. The spark is extinguished by a devastating calculation. The energy required to generate joy feels greater than the joy itself. The mental overhead is too high. Philosophically, this is the ultimate victory of the should over the is. You have become so identified with the self that analyzes and plans that you have lost the capacity to be the self that experiences. You are a perpetual preparer for a life that never begins. This is the final isolation, to be isolated from your own vitality. The color drains from your life in 1,000 tiny surrenders, until you are left wondering when you became a ghost in your own story. You have explored the architecture of the overthinking mind, how time collapses into past and future, how choices become paralyzed under the weight of perfection, and how isolation quietly takes root within your thoughts. However, knowing the labyrinth's layout is not the same as escaping it. To leave, you must first recognize the pattern that has constructed your personal maze. Your mind follows a unique rhythm, a specific identity that subtly defines how your spirals begin, why they intensify, and what sustains them. The free overthinking identity profile playbook is your opportunity to be recognized. Within this playbook, you'll answer a short set of questions that will guide you to your personal overthinking archetype. Once you've completed the questions, you'll receive a comprehensive breakdown explaining why your mind spirals in the way it does, the triggers that consistently draw you back into the loop, and the hidden strengths embedded within your pattern that you may not have noticed until now. This isn't just information, it's a mirror, one that finally helps the chaos make sense. While clarity alone won't end overthinking, it is the crucial first step toward reclaiming control. The journey to exit begins with understanding your pattern. You can download your free playbook using the link in the description.